Yeah, guys. Hey, guys. So before I start this video, I wanted to let you guys know that Bambi is on the market again. Oh my gosh. But good thing I kept the deposit, right? Deposits, guys, I wanted to let you guys know that deposits are usually non-refundable, right? Non-refundable because it's because of the time spent and wasted. You know, if you think about it, you're taking care of the dog, right? Just some free game, free go. You're taking care of the dog, right? So it takes time out of your hands just for you to take care of the dog. And some people, right, if they're holding the dog, they charge the days, right? They charge daily. You know, if they're holding longer than the date that this was, than the buyer who's picking up the dog, they charge by the day now. So they really want to, you know, take care of the dog, right? Because they urge you to pick up the dog. So, man, I might start doing that, bro, for real. I might start doing that. I usually don't. I'm pretty lenient. I'm pretty cool. But if it's, you know, a certain period of time, yeah, man, just get out, man. Just get out of the deal so I can sell it and get out of the way. You know what I mean? So obviously I kept the deposit, which is good for me. And man, I really should be like, hey, just come pick up the dog. But obviously I'm not gonna say any names, right? I don't like to do that, say names or expose people. No, it's just part of life, right? It's just part of life. My uncles, me, you know, we've all been played before, but you know, people who've done us dirty or done us dirt, we don't say anything. We don't say their names, but hey, we live and we learn, right? We live and we learn. So yeah, guys, Bambi is up on the market and available again. So I'll show her. She's pretty small, and yeah. So yeah, she is available. And guys, I do charge $55 an hour now in terms of calls with puppy related, and yeah, just because I told you guys I'm getting a lot busier at times and now, so I can't really keep up with all the y'all's texts and stuff like that, especially when if I'm gonna be a broker, not a professional broker, well, the beginner broker in North Carolina, because North Carolina is only a broker's licensed state. Oh my gosh, there's gonna be a lot of people texting me, man, for real. So whew, I can't wait. You know, I'm excited to start selling people's houses too. So, and look for property. So it's gonna be awesome, amazing, and yeah, I'm pretty stoked, I'm pretty excited. And yeah, let's get on the video, guys. I love y'all. But yeah, guys, I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about you know, some situation that's going on with my homie. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't mind at all. I didn't talk to him about talking about this situation, but it's public, so I can talk about anything I want. But yeah, it's with Munoz Frenchies. He said, all right, so he needed help with his buddy on, you know, how to solve the situation. So he said he sold a female in payments. Payments are terrible, guys. Oh no, don't ever do payments. People that have asked doing payments with Bambi, oh no, I just like, nah, bro, no, just I want the full money up front right now. So whenever it comes to doing something like that, especially, you know, if it's a little cheaper than usual, dude, just take the whole money up front, bro. Trust me, it's more worth it to do that instead of having to deal with payments, because some people do not go onto the word, man, for real. So dude gave $500 and took the dog. Guy's been breeding for years. He checked out the female before taking and agreeing on the deal. Almost 2 months later, he's claiming female has a hernia. Would have been noticeable when he checked her out, in that it's a inverted one that bulges in instead of out. Refuses to take her to the vet because he doesn't want to spend money on her. Now he's trying to return the female and get a refund. What would y'all do? Again, he checked the female and everything before he made the deal, right? Woo! It's a lot, right? It's a lot. Like, what would I do, right? I'll tell you guys what I would kind of personally do, but really what I should have done as a precaution, right? How the heck can you tell if a dog has a hernia? And I've never even heard of a inverted hernia, which is crazy, right? Which is crazy. And I don't think it's genetic. It could be genetics wise. I think with me personally, guys, like, especially with prolapse, especially prolapse. Prolapse is very common, especially with females, right? With females. And prolapse, to me, I believe it's both 50% bloodline and the other half can be hormones, right? A lot of people always saying it's hormones, but then a lot of people always saying, nah, man, it's genetics. You got to spay the dog. You don't want to deal with the dog no more. I think within me, I think I think genetics to me is the trigger of the prolapse, but it can be maintained and like stabilized or something like to calm down and not have the prolapse happen in the first place. If taking care of the dog is right, make sure they have vitamins and hormones are all good in place, and yeah, you can do the breeding. But then with me personally, if the dog's bloodline or the bully or the breed, right? Not bullies, but any dog can have it, right? Prolapse. I've seen Chihuahuas. My dad had a Chihuahua back then. Boo, bruh. It was a terrible prolapse, like about to come out, bro. It was like bleeding prolapse. That's how bad it was. So they had to spay the dog. That I can understand, right? That I can understand. And I have some of my subscribers as well that they've had puppies that have not come into heat, right? When the females comes into heat, that's when a lot of hormones are into play, and then prolapse is most likely usually occur if it really happens within that dog. And sometimes prolapse can happen later on. The dog may never have it in the first couple of heats, but then later on when it gets older, it can have prolapse, right? So it's pretty crazy. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. So but then within this hernia, oh man, how can you tell if a dog has a hernia? Like within me, I'd be like, bro, you BSing, right? You are capping. Right, maybe you just don't want the dog no more, right? So, but then again, I was telling you guys, the reason why I always do a wellness exam, right? I always do a wellness exam or a health checkup within the dog, within my vet, to make sure that the dog is healthy, right? Is this inner hernia? I'm gonna have to do some more research on it. Is anything life threatening to the dog or? Right, so usually hernias, guys, I'm telling you, like from what I've seen within my puppies, some here and there within my litters, they would have a hernia, but then it would close up later on, right? You could sometimes feel it. It feels like just a little teeny little hole. But it usually just gets covered up, right? It usually just heals, Usually, I've seen it too, guys. But then me, when the hernia and you see something bulging out, I push it in, right? I push it in. A couple weeks later, I keep doing that. Every time it pops out, I push it in, right? And a couple weeks later, it closes up, right? So it's a really genetic thing cause really, it's hard for me to explain, but within my buddy, within his buddy, I think with me, what they should have done is have a wellness exam, right? So after you get after I get my wellness exam, within 48 hours later, or maybe even a day or 2 days, right? It depends, when the vet is open and stuff within y'all's vet, within the buyer's vet, to get this dog checked up with your vet, right? I have mine certified already and make sure that this dog is healthy, make sure the dog is doesn't have any heart problems, it doesn't have any heart murmurs and stuff like that. It's very common into dogs, and sometimes, guys, heart murmur, some people just don't know, you don't have your dog has a heart murmur. You may even have a heart murmur and just don't even know, right? You just don't even know. But your doctors, whenever they hear through a stethoscope, they should tell you, hey, bro, you got a heart murmur, right? So within that, I'm sorry, guys, I'm rambling because I wanted to explain. Within me, for you guys, I would have had the wellness exam, and within a certain amount of time, look, man, it's on you. It's on you. It's like a disclosure form, kind of like in real estate, from what I've learned. A disclosure, you disclose, you can put no representation in North Carolina, and as a owner, as you're selling your house, right? I could be wrong in real estate commission, but hey, you will not be held liable if something comes up later on. You bought a house and then it's like, oh gosh, right? Like, oh man, I really, the house is messed up, but it's a buyer beware. Caveat emptor. So at the end of the day, it's your fault as a buyer that you should have known, right? You should have known. So that's what I've seen. And within me, guys, I'm so grateful. Like, I don't have to, deal with any problems like that. I think maybe I told you guys one time, like, I did disclose, like, it was me and my buddy. He produced a dog that had only one nut, right? So Cryptorchidism. And whenever he sold the dog, he disclosed, like, hey man, the dog's only got one nut. That's why I'm selling it for so cheap, right? That could be hormone related too, right? I've seen some vets that say it's not really genetic issue wise, it's just the hormones playing. They give it a shot, boom, the nuts drop. But within a certain period of time, the nut, the testicle won't drop no more, right? I should say testicle to be more professional, mature. But yeah, I mean, and then later on, they started to come back around and say, I don't know if I told you guys this before. They're saying, nah, you never told us the dog only had one nut, right? And we have the papers. We don't have breeding rights. We're like, bro, we told you, lady. We told you that you won't have breeding rights because we want to be a responsible breeder and not sell your breeding rights, right? You guys know in the paperwork, the breeding rights, you can give AKC paperwork, but you don't have to. You can scribble out, you can cut the little pin code number to have breeding rights. But then sometimes, again, guys, people will lie. People will lie about their paperwork on their dogs, right? You can do a DNA test with my dog and say that it really does come with this. This is why, like, with Judah's paperwork, it says that DNA number, right? It says DNA number, toxicity. That's only within, like, if you've done, I think maybe 3 breedings within a year or more than 3 breedings, something along those lines. AKC is going to force you to do a DNA work with your dog, right? So that's what, from what I've seen, and yeah, you will not be able to register any more litters within that stud if you do not do that DNA registration, right? So it's very simple. I should have showed it before. I should have recorded. You just do a swap, send it in the lab, and takes maybe a couple weeks, and then boom, your dog is DNA'd. Right after that, they're sending you new paperwork, but you can still register even if your paperwork hasn't come in. As long as it's just confirmed, you can do a DNA registration with your dog now that he is DNA'd. So yeah, man, I think within me, in terms of that, like, shoot, man, like, I've saw in the comments too, people say, like, you know, you can refund the dog, but definitely, as I was telling at the beginning of this video, definitely the deposit is non-refundable, man. Definitely, right? Definitely not, right? It's the time that you spent wasted, man, just trying to make sure this deal goes through. And hey, I'd be glad to take the dog back, right? You know, hey, I don't want to give the money back too, man, but really, that should have been dealt with already beforehand. And you know, how do you know, right? How do you know? Like, the buyer should have known that before this purchase. He should have saw that already. You know, I think within me, I really said, I think you BSing, dude. You BS. I mean, if you said he's got an inside, the female got an inside hernia, you would have saw it when you bought the dog, right? When you are checking out the dog, that's when you really should triple check, quadruple check, penta check, to see, make sure the dog is good and healthy and strong, right? And then after that, take it with the vet, right? If you and see how the dog walks and stuff like that, right? So it's a lot of things that come into play, guys. I wanted to tell you guys, and within me, you know, I think within me, if I didn't do all that, oh well, dang it, man. I guess we got to do the refund. But hey, man, that deposit is mine. But if the dog dies in your hands, the dog dies in your hands. I'm definitely not getting the dog back, as long as it's not anything life-threatening, right? Especially hernia, like, especially they don't want to pay for that, right? And you know, it's like within my buddy who had his female with the prolapse, right? So it's always within him. You know, it's the same exact bloodline, but I don't know why sometimes, well, it's a little different, but within his prolapse, man, he sold the female already, but then, you know, he did not do a checkup. I told him, dude, always got to do a checkup. You always have to do a checkup within your dog. You know, but he sold the female during the heat. I don't like doing that, selling the female thing. I don't know why people like to post their dogs when, hey, my female's in heat, she's up for grabs. You know, like, it's urging people just to flip the dog or breeding the dog. I don't know why people do that. Just sell the dog before the dog comes to heat. Really. But yeah, she had a prolapse, but then the buyer didn't want to deal with it. He didn't want to take it to the vet. I told my buddy, like, hey man, you know, I thought y'all discussed about this before. Hormones or the prolapse is not anything in bloodline. Well, it is sorta, maybe. We truly really don't know, but that's my opinion. I believe it's 50-50. It's kind of gray for me, gray area for me. People don't really know, even vets, even professionals, they really don't know 100% why it really happens. Like, just like anything, bro. I mean, we're always we're always challenged in the things that we've learned today in science and technology, guys. We've always challenged, dude. There's always something better. I hope you guys know that, right? Anything that you think is awesome today, it won't be awesome in the next couple decades or couple years. That's how things are, right? So you know, but it's good to learn. It's always good to be open-minded to learn some things, right? So, but yeah, I mean, it's insane, right? So, but my buddy, you know, to make things right, he just took the whole refund back, the whole 3,000, bro. Like, I was like, bro, are you serious? I mean, you didn't even do a deposit or anything like that, you know? With me, I always do a deposit for things like that, man. And just for the time wasted and the drive and dealing with all that, and I was like, should have done a checkup, should have done a wellness exam, make sure your dog was good, right? But since you didn't do that, it is what it is, right? So it is what it is. I'm not saying any names, but you know, that's the stuff I wanted to talk to you guys about. But yeah, guys, you guys let me know what would you guys would have done in this situation. And yeah, DM me personally or comment in the section down below. Would you do a refund? Would you not? Right? Would you not? So sometimes, guys, with global or over shipping overseas, you know, within the other side of the world, right? I'm in America. Sometimes you don't make it right, you know, they can spread some, even if they're on the wrong, I'll tell you guys, they will spread rumors about you, right? So sometimes you might have to be forced to make it right? Even if you in the right, you know what I mean? Even if they, you know, they messed up, right? Like shipping the dog, and it wasn't your shipper, it was their shipper, and the dog dies in their hands, in their shipper's hands, and oh my gosh, it is terrible. I had one of my buddies that dealt with that problem, and you know, he said, F it, you know, I'm not gonna make it right because it was their fault, right? So after that, you know, he already knew that, you know, I'm not gonna say the race or anything, right? But the people of that country, right? I'm not saying any names, right? I know they already spread rumors about him, like, you know, he dirty, right? He dirty. He gave me a dead dog, but really it was dirt dog, right? He got the dog. My buddy got the dog checked up already, but then when he shipped the dog died, right? And I know why the dog died. Is because the dog died because of anxiety, or the dog died because of heat stroke. Maybe the handler didn't take care of him right, or maybe the AC wasn't on. You know, like anything can play, right? But he knows how it goes. He got the dog comfortable into, you know, the car ride and stuff, so he should have been fine. But then again, we may never know, right? So there's a lot of things that goes on into shipping dogs, and you know, one of my uncle's friends too. I'm not gonna say any names, but apparently they sold the dog for a lot, but then he died, right? He died. So I think within me, if I was to sell a dog for a lot, like a lot, right? 6 stacks, you know, not 6 stacks, 6 figures. I wouldn't say anything about it until it's done, right? I believe in that karma stuff now, guys. I'm telling you, I believe in it now. Nope, not gonna say it, right? I've already seen it, but other people, not gonna do it, right? So I love you guys. You know, that's all I wanted to talk to you guys about today. But you guys, comment down in the section below, what would you guys do in that situation? And yeah, I read in the comments they were saying just refund the dog, but no deposit, right? Probably what I would have done too. Or maybe they are really just capping the butt off. So I love you guys. Like, subscribe. Peace.